Tia Mowry is famous from his new cooking show. It is not about a sister reboot, and it is definitely not about her ex-husband, Cory Hardrict. Just days ago, viral photos surfaced showing Tia holding hands and swapping some very public, very passionate kisses with a mystery man. But when people got to know who this person actually was, the most shocking thing was the big age gap between the two. It really surprised everyone. One thing is for sure, it's really shocking how there's such a huge age difference between the two. One is much older, the other is quite young, and yet they're kissing openly on a beach.
Tia Mowry has a boyfriend. They're holding hands, so we can assume that much, right?
When a person gets carried away by excitement, they end up going on a date. After a very painful and highly public divorce, why is Tia suddenly changing her standards so completely? And in which direction will this shift take the narrative of her reality show, where she was seen shedding tears over the difficulties of finding love at the age of 40? A new person has entered Tia Mowry's life, so who is he? Let's find out. On Thursday, April 10th, the paparazzi caught Tia Mowry completely off guard, or maybe she knew exactly what she was doing. The cameras captured her strutting across the street, glowing, laughing, and intimately holding hands with a tall, handsome mystery man. They weren't just casually walking, they stopped for a full-on romantic kiss in the middle of the street.
So Tia was caught out with her new boo. When I first saw this photo, I'm not gonna lie.
No hiding, no dodging the cameras. She was completely in her element. Almost immediately, the blogs picked it up, and the internet sleuths went to work. Within hours, the mystery man was unmasked. Enter Javoon Armada. Now, if you're asking yourself, who in the world is Javoon Armada, you are not alone. He is not a Hollywood actor. He's not a cutthroat record executive or a high-profile producer. Javoon is an artist, a designer, and an educator originally from East Cleveland, Ohio. He's the founder of Dolly Boy Creative Studios and has a background heavily rooted in visual arts and community-focused creative programs. Oh, and just to add a little spice to his resume, he also holds a master's degree in fashion, design, and luxury management from a school in France. So, he's got the brains, the creative edge, the worldly background, and he is completely outside of the messy Hollywood bubble. But here is where it gets incredibly spicy and where the timeline started losing its collective mind. While his exact birth year hasn't been blasted on Wikipedia just yet, it is glaringly obvious from the photos and his recent collegiate timeline that Javoon is significantly younger than the 47-year-old actress. Some sources are whispering that we are looking at a serious age gap. And if someone gets out of a nearly 15-year marriage, goes through a highly publicized and emotionally draining divorce, and then almost immediately steps out with a fresh-faced, highly educated artist in his prime, this sounds like someone who isn't afraid of the judgment, or someone who has a completely new outlook on life and an assignment to complete. Now, to really understand why this is such a massive deal, we have to look back at the timeline of Tia's love life. Remember, Tia was married to actor Cory Hardrict for 14 years. They were the ultimate black love couple. They were the blueprint for millions of fans. When Tia announced their split in late 2022, it sent shockwaves through the industry. People were genuinely mourning their relationship as if they were a part of it. And Tia hasn't exactly kept her post-divorce journey a secret. In fact, she's been documenting it. She literally just starred in her own reality series on WETV, Tia Mowry, My Next Act. If you watched the show, you know exactly how vulnerable she was. We saw her navigating her new normal, dealing with the fallout of awkward red carpet run-ins with Cory, and literally breaking down in tears when faced with the harsh reality of trying to find love again in Los Angeles. On the show, we saw her friends Natasha and Sierra taking matters into their own hands, trying to set her up on blind dates. We saw her go on a spicy second date with a guy named Charles.
We love sushi.
Do you think you'd have time and interest Friday night to go?
We even saw her navigating a scary health summit and trying to balance her dating life with raising her young son, Cairo. She was painting this picture of a struggling, newly single mom who was terrified of stepping out of her comfort zone. But then, Tia doesn't need the forced reality TV speed dating or awkward setups with older Hollywood types. She went out into the real world and found herself a young, cultured artist from Ohio. This is exactly what has everyone talking. The narrative she pushed on her show was, dating is terrifying and I'm scared. The narrative she is pushing in the streets of Los Angeles right now is, I am out here living my absolute best life with a man who probably grew up watching me on the Disney Channel. And yet, the internet is quick to call her a cougar. Some are even going as far as calling it a midlife crisis. But is it really? Or is this just what healing looks like? Let's talk about the real issue here, the blatant double standard in the entertainment industry. The phrase, cougar, immediately started trending the second Javoon's identity was revealed. Social media commentators, podcasters, and even licensed therapists on YouTube started chiming in, dropping reaction videos with titles analyzing whether younger men are better for older women. Look at the cultural conversation happening right now. When a 50-something male actor steps out with a 24-year-old Instagram model, the blogs might make a joke or two, but it's mostly accepted as just the way Hollywood works. Leonardo DiCaprio literally refuses to date anyone whose frontal lobe has fully developed, and society just shrugs and gives him a high five. But the moment a successful, wealthy, established black woman in her mid-40s decides to date a younger man, suddenly everybody has a PhD in psychology. Suddenly, she's unstable, or she's trying to relive her youth, or she's disrespecting her ex-husband's legacy. But what are the odds that Tia just found someone who matches her current energy? Javon isn't some random kid off the street looking for a quick come-up. He fits a certain profile. He's an educated man with a master's degree from France. He's running his own creative studio. Both of them are creatives, both of them are deeply involved in their communities, and both seemingly have a deep appreciation for art and fashion. Fans on Twitter and TikTok have been pointing out that after years of playing it safe, being the dutiful wife, the matching twin sister, the perfect mother, Tia is finally putting herself first. One viral post read, "Tia gave her best years to a situation that no longer served her, and now she's getting her groove back like Stella. We see ya, Tia." And look, we're not claiming that a massive age gap doesn't come with its own set of unique challenges, but the fact that the public is so triggered by a woman reclaiming her power and dating on her own terms doesn't seem like a coincidence. It exposes how uncomfortable society gets when an older woman refuses to just quietly fade into the background and be miserable after a divorce. Now, here is something that didn't make the mainstream news, but a lot of industry insiders are talking about. Right after these viral kissing photos dropped, rumors started swirling that Cory's camp was completely blindsided by the reveal. Remember, Cory has been trying to maintain this image of the stoic, unbothered ex who is just focusing on his acting career. But seeing the mother of his children passionately kissing a younger, highly educated designer in broad daylight? That has to sting the ego just a little bit. Furthermore, some reality TV insiders are wondering if this was a strategic leak. Think about it. Tia Mowry, "My next act was a success, but reality TV thrives on fresh drama and unanswered questions. What better way to secure a massive Season 2 renewal, boost the ratings, and completely change her public narrative than by dropping viral paparazzi photos of a brand new, slightly controversial, younger boyfriend? Is Tia playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers? She's an executive producer, an author, and an entrepreneur who has been surviving and thriving in this cutthroat business since 1990. She knows how to control a narrative. So, whether Javon Armada is just a fun, youthful fling to help her shake off the divorce dust, or if he is truly the next great love of her life, one thing is absolutely certain: Tia Mowry is no longer playing by the old rules. She has officially entered her Cougar era, she is clearly glowing, and she looks phenomenal doing it. But let me hear what you think. Do you think these two are the real deal? Are people completely overreacting to the age gap, or is there such a thing as being too young when you're an established Hollywood veteran?